Welcome back to McMorris Prosthetic Services. Today I want to talk about careers in prosthetics because I am fortunate to work in a lot of different environments. My manufacturing job and my sales job and my marketing job, and then the R&D stuff that I do with a couple other places. And I oftentimes see like when I'm speaking at high schools, I get kids that are really interested in prosthetics, and they're like, hey, how do I become a prosthetist? Like, I want to do those things. And I think that there's a misconception of what a prosthetist does for younger people, especially. So, your prosthetist or a prosthetist, orthotist, that is the person that is making the socket, the piece that is custom to me. And I think that's where a lot of young kids that are coming out of high school and they're like, hey, I really think prosthetics are cool. I want to be a prosthetist. A prosthetist is not making the cool things that you guys think they are, right? Like, they're making the most important piece by far. But a lot of these kids are coming to me and they're like, I want to make a new hand, and I want to make a new foot, and I have an idea for, a full leg that would be amazing. It's like, cool, man, that's awesome. I would love to see what you come up with, but that's not what a prosthetist does, right? The people that are designing knees, feet, hands, those are engineers. Those are mechanical engineers, and so the ones that I work with, a lot of them are doctorates. They have their PhD, and so and then you've also got to look at the grand scale, right? So there's 7 or 8 prosthetic manufacturers in the world. I mean, like Asia, I know there's a ton of things in Asia I've never seen, and I would love to see all that stuff. But like here in America, there's you've got Ottobock, obviously, Oser, Proteor, like Willowwood, Phil Hour, some of those smaller, but really the three are Oser, Ottobock, and Proteor, Allard. And so there's I don't know how many engineers each of those companies have, but let's say they each have 10 engineers or 20 engineers. That's 50 or 100 jobs in prosthetics, designing prosthetic knees, right? So the people that I work with up at the University of Utah, they graduate with their doctorate and everything else, and then some of them have had a hard time finding a way into prosthetics. They usually take it and are doing something else in medical devices or whatever it is, but prosthetics is so niche and it's so small that there just aren't a lot of jobs there. So the way to get in is obviously to just do as much as you can. I have worked for free a lot of the time over the last 10 years. I've done a lot of things for free. I've done a lot of things just because it's it'll give me a good opportunity to meet this person or be in this room. So if you're somebody that is I'm really interested in prosthetics and I want to build prosthetic knees and everything else, just start reaching out. First thing I would do is reach out to an actual prosthetist, which I know this is kind of counterintuitive. Reach out to a prosthetist in your area and see if you could shadow them. Say, hey, I want to come down and shadow you. And most prosthetists are open to that. And then, maybe when you're in there, they can connect you with their rep at Ottobock or at Oser or somewhere. And then you can make a connection there and start working towards, I want to, maybe intern here or shadow and spend some time around there. And really that's what it is spending as much time around these places that are developing these things and learning as much as you can with your general knowledge-based background, which really has to be mechanical engineering. You could have kinesiology, some of that stuff, but really a lot of that is going to fall back into the CPO, into the therapy side of things, the real nuts and bolts of things where things are being designed, prototype, tested, and then brought to market is with the manufacturers, and that is by engineers. So if that is what you're passionate about, then that's where you want to look. If you're I want to build the next, robotic leg and make it amazing, awesome, do it. We need you. But it's a battle. You're just fighting. It's just so niche, And so, but then if you are interested in being a CPO, that's amazing because we need more of those as well. If the field is thinning out, and a few years ago, becoming a prosthetist got changed to a master's degree. So you do have to go to a master's program, which I know there's one at Baylor, there's one at Washington, there's a couple I think there's one in Georgia. There's like maybe 8 or 10 prosthetic master's programs across the country, and we really need that. We really need more CPOs in the field, young CPOs that are getting out and experiencing things and gaining a knowledge base, because that's what's so hard about being a CPO. I feel like is you go to school and you learn some things for sure, but really prosthetics is all about building off your last case. So, like as a technician, as a prosthetist assistant, as a clinic manager, all these things I was taking. Well, I did this on this patient that was kind of similar. I'm going to take 2 of the 5 things from there and apply them to this person, but then I'm going to take 2 from over here and apply them to this person too. And so it really is hard to come out of school and feel like, oh, I can do this fully. And I think like a lot of new residents come out of school and it's like very intimidating, because they then get into the clinic and it's like, well, none of this was talked about in school. And so it really is a knowledge, education, time thing. And so get that master's, shadow as much as you can, and don't get discouraged about how hard it is, because this really is so hard to. Being a prosthetist is one of the hardest things, like maybe on the earth. Like getting someone to feel comfortable in a prosthetic and solve all of their problems and have it suspend well and have it work with their volume fluctuation and all of these different things with the materials that exist today is very, very difficult. And so I think that that's part of why maybe like there's a little bit of decline in the amount of CPOs that are coming into the field, and it being a master's program definitely has affected that for sure. But I'm here to tell you, like, we need you. So if you're somebody watching this and you're like, yeah, I have some interest in that, look into it, put it in the comments right now, reach out to me, because if you're interested in being a CPO or an engineer, like, I will help you. I will help you figure out what is the right path. I'm not like the most educated guy at all. I don't have any education, but I do know quite a few people, and I will try to help you any way that I can. Find an internship or a shadow, or you can come out here and shadow me, whatever it is. We can figure out if this is something you have a little bit of interest in. Again, hit me up in the comments, because I will try to help you any way that I can. I feel like we need to be growing this field and getting more people coming to it and excited about it and excited about what they could do, because you really, as hard as being a prosthetist is, as hard as like designing knees and feet are and everything else, there is not another thing on this earth that you get to see the impact of like that. Like being working in a clinic setting is like, seeing patients, seeing someone come in that I know exactly what they're feeling, because I've been there myself. And then I also know like what they're going to get to feel, 12 days from then, a month from then, 2 months from then, whenever it is, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to help them experience that and help them see like you're going to be okay. And it's not the end of the world. It's definitely hard, but it's not the end of the world. And so it is so needed, and we need more of it. And now with additive manufacturing, having an L code and everything else, like 3D printing it's here. It's here for prosthetics, and it's only going to become more and more prevalent and more, necessary for all of us. I think that is definitely going to add a lot of benefit and value for CPOs, for users, for engineers, everyone involved. But we need more people that are paying attention to that. I mean, there are a lot of people in prosthetics that are looking at 3D printing and spending a lot of time on it for sure. Look at Limber. There's a guy in Carolina called Brent Wright. He is a legend with what he's printing down there. But we need more Brents out there. So if you have any interest in the prosthetic field or industry at all, put them in the comments, reach out to me. And I would love to get on a FaceTime with you or help you figure out like what is the path that you're looking for and how maybe you should attack that. Other than that, we'll see you next time. Thank you.